Hello everybody and welcome back to Bring Your Own Popcorn, and welcome to day number 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas, where I watch and review a Christmas film that I have never seen before. And in today's episode I'll be watching and reviewing for the first time Black Christmas. Out of all of the films that I've done in this year's 12 Days of Christmas, I've honestly been most excited to watch this one. I love slasher films, really just absolutely adore the slasher genre, and this was apparently one of the first modern slasher movies ever, so really excited to watch it for that reason. And also, I just think I'll really like this one. As I said, I love slasher movies, and I've heard that this one is fantastic. So yeah, really excited to get into this one. I don't really know much about the plot. I'm pretty sure it's sorority girls in a house at Christmas, and a killer starts killing them. It sounds fairly generic for a slasher film, but seeing as this was one of the first, I'll let it slide. So without further ado, I'm so excited for this one. Let's watch Black Christmas. Okay, so here we have Black Christmas. Let's read what the film's about. For the first time in the UK comes this classic 70s festive slasher horror. It's time for Christmas break, and the sorority sisters make plans for the holiday. But the strange anonymous phone calls are beginning to put them on edge. When Claire disappears, they contact the police, who don't express much concern. Okay, really excited to get into this one. It's kind of that description didn't really add anything. I didn't know they got phone calls, so that's something new that I didn't know, but it didn't really add anything that I didn't already know. So really excited to get into this one. So let's watch Black Christmas.
Get out! And don't go up there!
So I just got done watching Black Christmas for the first time, and yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a really scary and well executed slasher film. I know a lot of people say that Halloween was the film that paved the way for the modern slasher subgenre, but I honestly think that this film was doing a lot of the things Halloween done, but 4 years earlier. This film was so ahead of its time. I was expecting this film to be scary. It's a horror film at the end of the day, and a lot of people love it. But I wasn't expecting to be as creeped out as I was by this movie. It was very effectively scary. I think the whole first, opening sequence, and especially the first phone call that the girls get, is maybe some of the scariest stuff I've ever seen in a film. There was just something so eerie about it, and it really tapped into a lot of my own fears, and it's honestly horror that I've not really experienced since watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time. I can't quite put my finger on what's so scary about it, because at the end of the day, it is a rather standard slasher film, but there's just something really off about it. It was just something really off-putting, and yeah, it was just really got under my skin. However, I do think the film peaks in its first act. The first act really took me by surprise with how scary it was and how interesting it actually was, and then it kind of goes downhill a bit. It never gets bad. It's still very, very good for the rest of the runtime. It's just that first act is just incredible that the rest of the film can't really live up to it. It easily doesn't get as scary as the first act, and I didn't actually find the third act all that creepy. Not that it wasn't good, I just didn't find it that scary. However, I did find the ending scary. The ending was really, really effective. I thought the kills in the movie were pretty good as well. They were, again, very similar to the style that Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of took on. A lot of the gore happens more off-screen. There is a bit of gore. And it actually is really effective to let your brain kind of put together the pieces of what's happening and not directly showing the audience. It's really well done. Yeah, as I said, for a slasher film, the story is just fairly standard. However, this was one of the first of the modern slasher subgenre. So of course it's going to be fairly standard. A bit like Halloween. Of course it's going to be standard. It was the first of its kind. Yeah, it really took me by surprise with how scary this movie was. It really creeped me out, really got under my skin. In terms of performances, they're quite mixed. They weren't bad. None of the performances were bad. They were just kind of what you expect from a slasher, like a low budget slasher film. They were a bit cheesy and a bit unconvincing, but I honestly wasn't really expecting fantastic performances here. There are a couple of people that really shine. The guy playing the killer is terrifying and does a great job at being terrifying. The voice that he's got is so creepy. And I thought John Saxon, I think that's his name, the dad from Nightmare on Elm Street, he was really good in this movie too, and definitely probably out of all the main characters, the best performance. So yeah, the performances weren't great, but I wasn't expecting great performances. They're kind of your standard slasher-like performances. You can tell that the words that they're saying, you can tell that they're acting. You can totally tell that they're acting. You're never fully convinced that what's happening to them is actually happening to them, but that's kind of the charm. And in terms of direction, I thought it was really good. I actually thought the low-budget nature of the film really added to the horror. I think low budget actually adds to horror so well. When a film is, it probably adds to the horror genre more than any other genre. When a film is low budget and it gives it that kind of video nasty feel, I think it complements the horror so well. And yeah, I did think it was well directed. There were a couple of shots I wasn't a big fan of. There was quite a bit of shaky cam in the movie, which I can kind of respect for being maybe not the norm back then and something a bit different, but I just really hate shaky cam. But I thought the film was really well directed, and I just loved the tone that it created, this low budget video nasty feeling to it. It was really well done. And some of the effects were a little bit rocky. Some of the practical effects, they didn't look very realistic. I would have rathered for some of the gory scenes that they didn't actually show it, but they choose to show it, and it doesn't look that good. But it's kind of what you expect from a low budget film. I just wish they chose not to show the cheesy practical effects. Overall, however, I was really surprised with how scary Black Christmas was. I thought it was a really great slasher flick. I can definitely see myself watching this in Christmases to come. I'm definitely going to get the Blu-ray because I really enjoyed this film. Out of 10, I would like to give Black Christmas an 8 out of 10, and it gets my recommendation. But that's just my opinion. Please let me know down in the comments what you think of Black Christmas. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's just alright? Love to read your comments, and I try and respond to every single one of them. Join me back here tomorrow and bring your own popcorn for day number 10 of the 12 Days of Christmas, where I'll be watching and reviewing The Night Before. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on notifications, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.